Hey there, welcome back to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra. Today I am collaborating with my best friend Sonja over at DIYs with Sonja, and we're bringing you some high-end Christmas decor dupes. I'm all about Pottery Barn today, so let's get started with my first project. This is a plastic wine glass that I picked up at my local Dollarama store. I grabbed two of them and they were $3 each. I needed to get rid of this stem part, so I'm just using this little hacksaw and I'm cutting through the majority of this stem. Then I'll be able to just grab a pair of pliers and snap the rest of it off. Now I can use my rotary tool with the saw blade attachment and just very gently go around the plastic. It's just an acrylic glass, and cut off the rest of this stem. Using my pliers, I can very easily pop off the rest of that stem, and then it's ready to be sanded and smoothed out. I chose these glasses because they have sort of a bubbly texture that mimics these antique bells from Pottery Barn. Using a sanding block, I'm simply going to sand down all of the rough edges and get the top of this bell as smooth as possible. I needed to find some material to create the top part of the bells, so I found this little wooden wheel and a half round bead. I'm going to glue those two together and then glue them to the top or the bottom of the glass. I'm always very frugal when it comes to looking for bits and pieces that I can use from my stash before I go out and buy more supplies. To make the top of the bell look a little more seamless, I'm using a really big bead of hot glue and that silicone spatula you can get from the makeup area at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to smooth that out, and that's going to make it look more like it all belongs together. You could also use spackling or wood filler, anything that will fill in the gaps and make it look smooth. My new favorite brown paint is Chocolate by DIXIE BELLE. It is a chalk paint, and if you're interested in trying any of the DIXIE BELLE products, I have a link down in my description box. I'll also pin it in the comments for you so you can find it easily. Both of my faux bells are going to get one coat of the chalk paint, and then I'll set them aside to dry completely. To get a high-end finish like the Pottery Barn bells, I'm using multiple colors and various application methods. This coffee color is the perfect second shade for the bells, and using the sponge brush is bringing out all of the dimples and texture of the glasses. Make sure when you use sponge brushes like this that you blend a lot so the circle shape doesn't show in the final product. I have never been one that enjoys having metallic tones in my decor, but since I started working with DIXIE BELLE Bronze Gilding Wax, I am hooked. I'm using a wet wipe and dipping it lightly into the wax and then applying it to the bell very softly at first and then a bit heavier to achieve the amount of shine that I like. The gilding wax is simply adding some metallic shine to my project, but it's also blending in all of those colors, the chocolate, the coffee color, and making it look seamless. I am really loving this effect, and I think I'm going to be investing in a couple more colors of the gilding wax. I believe they have silver, gold, antique gold, and bronze, if I'm not mistaken. But don't hold me to that. Check that out in the link below. Let's take a look at how my bells turned out. Today's video is in collaboration with DIYs with Sonja. Sonja is my best friend in real life and I am so inspired by her. She is the queen of decor dupes and she has so many wonderful ideas for you to get inspiration to create your own high-end Christmas decor for the holiday season this year. So make sure you head down to my description box and click on her channel and her video for today. For my next project, I'm starting off with DIXIE BELLE Chalk Mineral Paint in the color Chocolate. This is the one I was talking about earlier, my new favorite brown paint. So rich and beautiful. I'm going to use a really nice soft brush. This is a Stahlmeister brush and an old ornament that I want to upcycle. Just one coat is all you need for this project. These chalk mineral paints cover everything in one coat. It's amazing how beautiful they are. I'm also going to do one ornament in Rustic Red and French Linen, and those two are pictured here. I'm using a box of baking soda that I always have down in my craft room, so I never use this for cooking. And you're going to apply it liberally all over the ornament. You can see that I'm just putting a whole ton on. It will probably be easier to use a spoon, but for now I'm just going to shake it all over. You're going to get quite a bit of coverage with this, and you don't want to tap anything off. This is how you want it to be. Let this dry for a good couple of hours. I made sure to have a piece of paper underneath my ornament to catch all of the excess baking soda, and then you can simply put it back in the box for your next project. I like to use these plastic gloves as a sealer, so when I put the cap on these paints, I'm not going to have any crusty dried paint that'll make it difficult to open the lid later. Now comes the big reveal. You're going to take a soft brush. I'm just using one of my chalk paint brushes because the bristles are really nice and full and soft, and very gently you're going to start brushing off all of the baking soda. This turns into a beautiful flocked or felted look ornament, and I think these are so pretty. I know Sonja has done this method before, and I've seen a few other YouTubers do this method too, so it works. It looks so pretty, and you don't have to worry about any of the baking soda starting to fall off. It actually has dried right into the paint. This is how the Rustic Red turned out. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to be doing probably at least 5 or 6 more in different colors to adorn my tree for the holiday season this year. For this next project, I'm using these old Magnolia stems that I got from my dollar stores long time ago to recreate these metallic flower tree picks. They sort of look like magnolias, maybe amaryllis, but they're a beautiful champagne color and they are metallic, which I am not really into, but I'm gonna do a pretty close duplicate of these. So now that I've taken everything apart, I'm going to use a beige sort of sandy colored spray paint and give all of the flowers a good coat. Once they are completely dry, I'm going to add 2 or 3 together to make a more thicker and realistic bloom. The other thing I did, which I didn't show you, was I took some of the chocolate brown paint and sponged it into the center to give it more depth, but I didn't like the look of that. It was just a little too harsh. So I'm going to be changing that up shortly, and I'll show you exactly what I did to improve the look. These blossoms were really old in my stash, and some of them are worse for wear. So I'm going to take a little hot glue and glue some of the petals together to make it look more full and like it would realistically. To camouflage some of that dark brown paint, I did go over with the original spray paint one more time. And then when that was dry, I used a little bit of hairspray and I put some cinnamon in the center. And I think that just brought out a little bit more of a realistic look too. Plus, the cinnamon makes your whole house smell good. Around this time of year, I start having a simmering pot on my stove of cinnamon, apples, and a little bit of vanilla just to get that apple pie smell throughout my home. I really love that for the Christmas season. The Pottery Barn picks are metallic and I'm not really into that, so I decided to use a little bit more hairspray, and I'm going to sprinkle on some Epsom salts and hopefully some of them will stick. Not all of them do, but I just wanted that little tiny bit of shimmer. My look for Christmas this year is rusty, rustic, natural elements. So I think these are going to blend in perfectly and just give a little bit of a brightness to my tree too. This last dupe is so simple. All you need is a branch and some of these berry picks. This is what I'm trying to duplicate, and I can't imagine spending this much on one stem. I picked up these red pick berries from my local dollar store. They have them every year. If you can't find any of these, I do have some listed in my Amazon store. And then I just grabbed a twig from my garden and I'm going to just hot glue everything together. You could even use these stems themselves without adding the stick, but I just wanted a little bit of a wider look, so that's why I used this stick. This turned out so pretty and just so easy to do. Creating a high-end look for your home this holiday season can be easy and affordable with these Christmas decor dupes. I added some greens in with my berries and I love how this turned out. I put all of my creations today together in this really pretty vignette. I love how it looks. I love how all the colors blend in together, and that little pop of red for the berries just brings it all home. Thank you for spending some of your time with me today. We are all so busy, so I truly appreciate it when you come over and click on my video. Don't forget to head down to the description box and click on the link to Sonja's video as well. Her decor dupes will be fabulous. See you in the next one.